what they're playing on here. That in the Jane Fonda one, she's like a real gal. It's a musical. Everything's so happy, but in real life, apparently she was a drunk.
Yeah.
Which she
is in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she looks a bit like, I thought honestly the first scene when I first watched it, she was a man.
Oh yeah.
She's dressed in men's clothing and like her hair's all put up, and she has a voice like that.
She reminds me of like Brienne from Game of Thrones.
Ah, yeah.
You know, like a kind of male-ish female who doesn't really fit in with being like a normal female.
Yes.
But she's like Brienne if she was drunk all the time, and like obviously in the Wild West. But I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed like how she's clearly insane and crazy and drunk. But then she looks at she looks at what's called Wild Bill
Hickok.
Bill Hickok. She looks at him with absolute like adoration. She's like, that's really fun. You know, she was kind of a weird, odd character, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it is a weird pilot because it's a great pilot in retrospect because it sets everything up, but it's so dense.
There's a lot to get your head around.
There is a lot to get your head around. Yes, this show is incredibly dense.
Yeah.
Like this is the HBO show where if you've not seen if you've not seen the episode before, you'd be completely lost.
Yeah.
There's almost no episodic content in some of the episodes. It's just all serialized. Like every episode, this one sort of doesn't because it's got that prologue, but every episode takes place over a day.
Oh yeah.
So this one did. It sort of began at night when they get settled, and it ended in the day when they kill the guy who's made up the story about the Sioux killing their people. But yeah, it all takes place over a day. But this is it's so dense with the dialogue and everything. You've just meant to like get your head around what the show's trying to do.
Yeah, however, there is a lot to get your head around.
Yes, there is a lot to do, and it's just getting you into this world. In retrospect, you can see how it sets everything up brilliantly, and how every single because all the characters that are in this in the show going forwards pretty much are in this.
Yeah.
There's a bit where the amazing actor Powers Booth. I don't know if you know who he is.
No.
He's a well-known man's man. As soon as you see him, you'll realise why, because he has like the best voice ever. But him and another troupe of people come to be rivals to Elswearingen. So they're not in it yet, but every other single main character has something to do in this pilot.
Oh yeah.
The only problem I think with the pilot is that the female characters aren't very well done in it.
No.
Other than that, Jade, none of them have anything really to do. But and that's only in retrospect because it's known for having like really great female characters. The show, but there's not really much of that in this episode.
Well, all there is there's that prostitute who is beaten up and
the woman who's high on liquid opium.
Oh yeah.
She's a massive part of it going forward, but you wouldn't get it from the pilot.
No,
she
just stays in her room, doesn't she?
She just
drinks liquid opium.
She does.
But what I was really impressed by was all the period details.
Yes.
Like I loved like how dingy and dirty it looked. Like obviously like again it's playing on old westerns where like in a John Wayne western. It's all like pretty and beautiful and blue skies and red sand, and in this it just looks like shit.
It does look like shit.
It just looks like a horrible place. And I think they established really well the period dialogue, the period costumes, and the setting. This place feels like it's an incredibly dangerous place to come to, a place where anything could happen.
Yes.
Anything could happen. So it really sucks you into that world, and it gets you into that kind of setting that where we know what's trying to place here.
Yes. Well, I think that they did the same thing in this as they did with the film McCabe and Mrs. Miller, which this David Milch has talked about how this TV show's in open communication with that film. But what they did with that film and this is they built the sets as the show went along.
Oh yeah.
So it's an evolving town because they shot it in chronological order.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then as for the first episode, it's dingy like this, and then as it went along, build more and more around the actors. So at the beginning it's all dingy and like this, and then as it goes along they're building more and more shops and stuff.
As the town gets more successful from the gold rush.
So it's realistic rather than having like a set look.
That's good.
But and it just looks like amazing, just the cinematography and the sound especially. The sound in this is great.
It's great, yeah.
Just get lost in watching it and stuff as it goes along. But yeah, I think this is great. I would give it like maybe like a 9.
Yeah, 9. Yeah.
I think the show really starts getting going in like a couple episodes time because it's at the beginning it's quite slow, just getting everything built up and up and up, and then it sort of explodes in like the 4th episode when it becomes more about how to live in a town that has no laws.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously there's the difficulties inherent with that. Everyone goes there for like a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
And it's a really great show and all because it's quite uplifting in a way. because it's all about these damaged people who've come to rebuild their lives in this sort of town where no one knows who they are and anything. You don't get a lot of that now, obviously, because it's just setting everything up. But the main thing the show is about how like communities are built. And how like you can get ad hoc like families and communities out of nothing. Which is that's what the whole show is trying to do. As it comes further and further along, you see more like connections being made between people and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's not any of that now. But as it goes forwards, it's just a great thing to get you into this world, and it's a great pilot to do that.
It's a textbook, perfect example, I think, of what a TV pilot should do.
Yeah.
Unlike Better Call Saul, where I was just couldn't care less about seeing the next episode. This one, it establishes the characters. It establishes what kind of hints at what the themes of the show are, what it's going to be dealing with. It sets up with loads of interesting storylines to kind of sink your teeth into. Lots of fun, great character moments, and I'm curious to see what is going to happen next. It's a textbook example of exactly what a pilot should do, and what something like Better Call Saul.
Well, I was thinking, because like we were obviously reviewing the first episode, and like there's like 7 episodes of that now, and I just couldn't care less about watching it. But this I've seen like 4 times. I'm like, I want to watch next episode now. See, like
if you can't tell, like we were in a new location. I've moved recently, so I've been without internet for about 3 weeks or something, and I've got a lot of catching up to do. Better Call Saul. I'm just not infused.
No, me neither. I
just don't care.
But
with something like the Deadwood pilot, it draws you in instantly. It's unique. It's different. It's establishing what the show's going to be about. It has, like I said, really great character moments. You get a good hint at what the characters are like. It just establishes the world really, really well, I find. Unlike other shows.
Yes.
Oh god, there's a van outside.
Yes, that's what the flickering light is. Well, okay.
Just ignore the flickering light.
Yes. What would you give it out of like a 10 then? I reckon a 9.
I'd give it a 9.
Yes.
If I went back and because I think when I first watched it, I was just trying to take in, all the info, all the plots, the way they talk. I reckon if I went back and rewatched it, I could just
soak it in
properly.
So
no, it was a really great hour of television.
Yes.
Maybe when we finish Deadwood, I'll watch The Wire.
Well, The Wire is, because I was saying that they're known for forming like a loose trilogy. Well, fans see this. The shows have nothing in common in terms of who made them.
No.
They share some of the same actors at points, I believe. Because like HBO is known for reusing actors a lot. So if you work with HBO once and you're good in the shows, they'll put you in like another one. But like people see it as Deadwood is the formation of like society, an American society. And then, like, The Wire is America now, and how it's just become total shit. And, like, because that's what the show's about, how these big systems have destroyed everyone. And The Sopranos is about living in America, it's like past, so America's past, which is Deadwood. The Sopranos is America's present, because it's, like, World 9/11, everything's sort of happy at the beginning, and then it turns to shit. And then in The Wire, it's seen as this is the fallout of America's sort of systems. So it's like how they were created, living under the systems, and then having them fail, and then what happens after it fails.
Past, present, future.
So that's what they're seen as being the great sort of trilogy of television. So that might be something to keep in mind possibly while watching it. But so they do form that loose trilogy, and it'd be cool to review all of them.
Yes. Well, we've said with my girlfriend it's going to be a thing where we are. But I think we had the first. Funnily enough, like when I was at home, I was frustrated because my brother, like he had the last 4 seasons, but he didn't have the first one.
The Wire.
Even though he owns the box set, so I don't know where the first season's gone. Weirdly enough, my girlfriend has the first season. So I can I can borrow the last 4 seasons from my brother. So I'll probably start watching The Wire soon.
That'd be cool. Then we could compare them, because Deadwood is by far the most cult one. It's the one that not as many people are aware of or have seen, just because it was it got cancelled before it was finished, so it doesn't really end. And it never really had the crossover appeal.
No.
Because Westerners are pretty much dead.
It's
shocking, to be honest, it even got 3 seasons.
Probably, I
mean, the second season is absolutely stunning. But like it's a miracle it even is like there. But yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to watch all three and compare them and see which one holds up best now and stuff. But yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode of Deadwood, which we'll be doing. It is
Deep Water.
Deep Water.